What's good, y'all? We are officially here. It is time for playoff basketball. We've waited this whole long regular season through this week of playing games, and today it starts now. 16 teams trying to win one championship. Who's gonna do it? I was going back and forth with the idea of doing my whole playoff bracket, just doing the whole prediction thing, or just doing this first round matchup since we know for sure these are the teams. You know, there could be a team that I don't pick that moves on, and then that kind of ruins the whole bracket type of thing. In this video, we're just gonna go over the first round matchups. Then, of course, as the playoffs go by, we're gonna do the second round matchups. Then we'll do the conference finals matchups. Then, of course, the final matchup. And, you know, break down each of those as it goes. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first series we're gonna break down is the Denver Nuggets versus the 8th seed. As I'm recording this right now, it's Friday. Later today, it's like, you know, the last play-in to see who gets that 8th seed. Since this playoffs are tomorrow, I gotta get this video out for you guys. So I'm just gonna do a quick breakdown on if it's either gonna be the Thunder or the Timberwolves. Now, in my play-in prediction, I did say that I think the Timberwolves are going to beat the OKC Thunder in the play-in. If they do somehow upset the Timberwolves, though, and they make it as the 8th seed, I don't think it's really going to be much of a challenge for Denver. They really have no size on the team. You know, they have Jalen Williams as center, but he's kind of undersized. Then they have the other Jalen Williams at power forward, and he's pretty undersized too. He's 6'8", but he's more of like a wing 6'8" than a big 6'8". So they could definitely run into a little bit of trouble there. We just saw in the play-in against the Pelicans, Valanciunas had a double-double in the first half. If that's Nikola Jokic, he might have a triple-double in the first half. They just don't have real size to keep him off the boards, to keep him off, you know, the offensive rebounds, just quick dunks and quick layups there, just the post-ups and stuff like that. They have no presence down low. Once Chet comes back next year, I'm sure that'll change. They got draft picks. They got free agency they can even do. Next year, I think OKC is going to be really good, but not this year. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, if they do beat the Thunder tonight and make it as that final 8th seed spot, I do think that they match up against Denver better. You know, you have Rudy, he can guard Jokic, Cat on Aaron Gordon, you can put Ant on Jamal Murray. Since they don't have Jaden McDaniels, there's no one really to guard Michael Porter Jr. I think he would have, like, he'd be that X factor in this game. Of course, Jokic is going to get his own. He's going to do his thing. Jamal Murray's going to do his thing. Aaron Gordon, all that. I think if they match up in the playoffs, Michael Porter Jr. will have a very big series. I think he's going to be able to eat them alive with his 6'10 frame. That's a lot of size right there. Jaden McDaniels would have worked perfectly. I'm still so pissed about that, man. It is what it is. It's whatever. They really have no answer for Michael Porter Jr. now, and I think that's going to make a big difference in this. And then at the end of the day, the Nuggets do have the best player on the court, Nikola Jokic. He's going to be a top 3 MVP candidate this season. No one really can stop him. You could make him struggle and make him work for it. You're not going to stop Nikola Jokic, though. So, because of that, if it's the Timberwolves matching up, I got Nuggets in 5. If it's the Thunder matching up, I got Nuggets in 4. The next series we're staying out west. We have Suns versus Clippers. This is going to be one of the most fun first-round matchups, in my opinion. The one thing that does really suck is it's kind of up in the air if Paul George is coming back. He may not. I saw shots, like there's a video of him taking shots and stuff like that. I don't know if he's going to be like doing drills and making contact. If he is back, it's a whole different type of series. If he's not, though, it's going to be a lot of pressure for Kawhi. With no Paul George, Kawhi is going to be one of the only guys that can really create efficient offense for himself and for others. Russell Westbrook is going to have a huge series in this. Of course, there's the other motivator if he's versing Kevin Durant. He said there's no beef. I don't know. It always seems like when he versus Kevin Durant, he has a little, you know, chip on his shoulder since he left him. So, in this case, with no Paul George, Russell Westbrook's really going to have to be on his stuff, man. Since becoming a Clipper, he has improved his play a whole lot, making a real positive impact on the court in some games. Whether that's him attacking the rim or playmaking for his teammates, grabbing rebounds at the guard position, playing defense, like shooting the ball, whatever it is, he's going to have a big impact on the series if they want to win this. Norman Powell also, he's going to get a lot more shots since Paul George is not playing. He's going to have a really good series off the bench. He's had a very good season off the bench. Some people have given him votes for 6th man of the year. Me personally, not really. But he's still, you know, gives a lot of effort off that bench, a lot of scoring off that bench. He's going to have to, you know, take that extra step also on the offensive side of the ball. But ultimately, the Suns have two of the best isolation scorers in the league right now in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I think that the offense, everything slows down in the playoffs. I think in the half-court offense, they're going to have no problems having Kevin Durant get to his spots, Devin Booker get to his spots, Chris Paul picking apart the defense, maybe doing some pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton too. It's going to be very, very hard to guard the Suns throughout the entire playoffs, no matter who you are. Losing Paul George, a great defender, is definitely not going to help them. They still do got guys like Kawhi Leonard, of course. Nick Batum can really have a big impact. Zubac down low, guarding the rim. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a tough-fought series. If Paul George is here and makes it back, I think it goes 7. If not, though, I think I got Suns in either 5 or 6. I'm going to lean more towards Suns in 5, honestly. Next up, another one of the most fun first-round matchups, in my opinion, the Golden State Warriors versus the Sacramento Kings. Or I guess I should swap that since the Kings are the high seed. The Sacramento Kings versus the Golden State Warriors. I see a lot of people saying that the Warriors are going to smoke the Kings. I don't think it's going to be like that, man. I don't think people are really understanding how big of a home court advantage the Sacramento Kings are going to have. This franchise was deprived of not only playoff basketball, but good basketball for 16 years. They're going to be jumping, bro. I think the Kings crowd is one of the most underrated in the league. I think that they are going to be yelling, screaming super loud for the Kings. And we all know the whole storyline for the Golden State Warriors this year was they were not a good road team. I feel like people are definitely forgetting that. I think the matchup of having a really good home court advantage versus a team that is really bad on the road, it's not looking good for the Warriors. And I know they're getting Andrew Wiggins back. I don't know how big of an impact he's going to be playing, just coming back, missing so much time. Gary Payton II, obviously they traded for him at the deadline. He wasn't hurt. He couldn't really play too much. Those two are really going to help, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then also, one thing that I really do worry about with the Kings is Sabonis and his ability to guard the pick and roll, or him being able to guard when they do the small ball lineup where Draymond is running the center. Obviously, Sabonis is not the best defensive center in the league, but hopefully his offense will be able to counteract the defense. The Kings' offense is really, really good, so I think they won't have too much of a problem with that. But at the end of the day, a bad defensive center in the playoffs always seems to get exposed. I do think, though, De'Aaron Fox is going to be extremely hungry. He's finally making his playoff debut. This is, year 5 or 6 for him, and he's just now making it to the playoffs. I think that he's going to be going there with a vengeance. He's going there, going to be attacking the rim, playmaking, pulling up his mid-range shots. He's going to be really, really playing his ass off. I think he's going to lock in on defense, too. A lot of these athletic guards, they have the ability to defend no matter if they really do or don't in the regular season. I think in the playoffs, he's going to be locked in. He's going to use his athleticism to his advantage. And I think the Kings are going to pull this one out in 6. I think if this series does go 7, which I know a lot of people do have it going, I think the experience of the Warriors are going to make them take that game 7. But I think the Kings are going to cut it off real soon. I think it's going to be Kings in 6. Mark my words. Damn, as I'm going down each of these teams and these matchups, I'm realizing the West playoffs is going to be a wild thing to watch, man. Memphis versus the Lakers as our last Western Conference first round matchup. It's going to be another really good one. So I do want to start off by saying I think that the Grizzlies missing Steven Adams and Brandon Clark is going to be huge for them. I think them not really having that big depth is going to be a big problem for them. Now, when you're going against a team that has Anthony Davis, who's been super aggressive attacking the rim this season, less taking his mid-range and his threes and more just going at the rim, getting to the free throw line and getting those layups, getting those dunks. And then you also have a very hungry LeBron James, who in year 20 is coming off of damn near averaging 30 points per game while shooting 30% from 3. He's getting a big majority of those buckets at the rim and at the free throw line. Those are two really aggressive drivers against Jaren Jackson Jr., who is, of course, my defensive player of the year. But at the same time, he gets a foul trouble a lot. If Anthony Davis and LeBron James just keep attacking Jaren Jackson Jr., and he gets in those foul trouble, they really have no other bigs to replace him. They, of course, have Xavier Tillman. They can maybe even put like Santi Aldama at center. Maybe he'll get eaten alive, but he's at least got some size. They signed Kenneth Lawton Jr. I mean, he's like 6'6" on a good day, maybe. Like their depth really is hurting heavily with losing Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. But at the same time, the Lakers aren't the best three-point shooting team, so the Grizzlies could kind of just pack that paint and really just seclude everyone down in there to make that a little bit more, a little more struggle for the Lakers. In that case, then they're going to have big games from D'Lo shooting the ball, from Malik Beasley, from Austin Reeves. They're going to have those three guys really shooting the ball very efficiently in order to kind of space them back out to get that clear lane to the basket. Then, of course, the Grizzlies have Ja Morant, who himself has been very, very good at attacking the rim as well. Kind of the same thing with LeBron, though, not shooting the ball the best, so if the Lakers just kind of have to pack that paint to really give him trouble. Jaren Jackson Jr. on the offensive side of the ball has really taken a big jump, so that can maybe alleviate some of the pressure off Ja. Desmond Bane is there. Either way, I do think that this series is going to be a very big defensive series, a lot of like grinded out games from these two guys, these two really top defenses. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the experience. I'm going with the king. I'm going with the Lakers in 7. I think it's going to be a very back and forth series, but I can't doubt LeBron James. Lakers in 7. That's the Western Conference. Now let's take it over to the Eastern Conference for the Bucks versus the 8th seed. Of course, like I said with the Denver Nuggets, tonight we find out who gets that last 8th seeded spot. If it is the Chicago Bulls, if they somehow make it from the 10th seed all the way up to the 8th seed and make it there, I think it's going to, unfortunately for them, be a repeat of last year where the Bucks just kind of beat down on them. They really have no rim protection for Giannis. He's, of course, as always, going to just be attacking that rim super, super hard. And they really have no answer for that. Vucevic and Drummond are their centers, and neither of them really could do it. We also saw against the Toronto Raptors, they started a very small lineup where they had Zach LaVine, Pat Bev, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan as their 4 guys, then Vucevic. That really, if you don't have a lot of size against the Bucks, you're probably going to run into some issues. Then on top of that, the Bulls really don't have a lot of shooting. And when the paint is being protected by Brook Lopez, who has an argument for Defensive Player of the Year this season, and then, of course, Giannis, who, in my opinion, is one of the best help defenders of all time, you're going to run into some struggles there. So I think they're going to get pretty quickly beaten out of that series. And then if it's the Heat, they run into a lot of the same problems where they really don't have too much of an offense going, not even just shooting. They really just don't have a lot of half-court offense. And then we saw against the Hawks in the play-in, they really struggled against Clint Capella and his size. They have no real power forward, and they only really have Bam at that center position. So, again, running into a front court of Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Bobby Portis off the bench, too. I think the Heat are going to run into a lot of problems of rebounding and attacking the rim and protecting the rim on the defensive side of the ball. So, either way, no matter who wins this and gets this 8th seed, I think the Bucks take it in 4. Next up, we have by far, I don't really think it's any type of argument, unless you're a fan of another different team. I think this is the best Eastern Conference first round matchup. The Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. I mean, as you can tell right there, I'm a Knicks fan. So either way, even if we were versing the worst team in the league, this would be my favorite playoff series. I'm putting aside the bias though. When I'm doing this breakdown, just know, no bias included. So I do think that the Cleveland Cavaliers have a very good recipe on how to stop the Knicks, and that's protecting the paint. Both of our main guys of Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson both love to do their magic in the paint. And when you got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, 2 7-footers down there, I think that could really disrupt a lot of stuff for them. But at the same time, we have Julius Randle, who's been sitting out for 2 weeks now with his ankle. I'm pretty confident he's going to be playing in this series. I saw an interview of Jared Allen saying that the Cavs were really only preparing for Julius to play. So I feel like that just means like the higher ups in the NBA, they all know Julius is going to be playing game 1, which I'm very happy about, of course. But him being able to get all rested, clear his mind, get ready for the playoffs, I think is going to be a very, very big thing. I think a lot of people talk about the fact that they have 2 big 7-footers, that verticality and everything like that. But Julius is a very strong guy. In my opinion, he's probably one of the strongest people in the NBA. I think that even though he gives up the height, I think his weight and his strength, it could cause some issues for Evan Mobley and for Jared Allen. Same thing with Mitchell Robinson. He is also super duper strong. Really good at getting those offensive boards too. Defensive boards as well. But the offensive boards is his biggest strength. I think that he's going to be able to, cause some havoc there. Either tipping them out, just giving them just some struggles on the rebounding side for the Cavs. Then when it comes to the guards, obviously the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell, who is one of the best playoff performers in the entire NBA right now. It always seems like when the playoffs come, he turns it up. Then also Darius Garland, he's going to be making his playoff debut. A really, really good playmaker. He's going to be able to really pick apart this Knicks defense, which isn't really the best this season. Of course, Tom Thibodeau always has the reputation of being a great defensive coach. This season, though, it's really been the Knicks' offense. A big part of that is, of course, the Knicks' point guard, Jalen Brunson. I think he's going to have a really, really big series. Last season was really where he broke out in the playoffs without Luka Doncic. Against Donovan Mitchell, funny enough, he went nuclear and just was scoring at will against a very good defensive Jazz team. I think a lot of people disregard that. Rudy Gobert was on that team, a great rim protector. Jalen Brunson going up against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Of course, great rim protectors in their own. I think that he's going to be able to manage, though. I do think, though, when you look at it on paper, like the starters alone, I think it's very evenly matched, in my opinion. Where the difference is really separated is the bench. I think the Knicks' bench depth is so much better than the Cavs. The Knicks have a top 2 candidate in Sixth Man of the Year in Emmanuel Quickley coming off their bench. He has ended this season off on a heater. He's got all the confidence in the world right now. Been playing amazing, shooting the ball, attacking the rim, playmaking, defending, everything. He's just been playing at an elite level to end off this season. Then they also got guys like Josh Hart who come into the game and just impact the game immediately, whether it's rebounds, attacking the rim, his defensive, getting steals, getting out in transition, shooting the ball. He has been doing amazingly as a Knick. Isaiah Hartenstein as a backup big does everything that you want to do. Obi Toppin can come in, stretch the floor a little bit, give you some high energy minutes. They have a lot of really good depth. And then when you look at the Cavs, of course, they got guys like Ricky Rubio who, can really come in and run an offense for some limited minutes at that guard position. Then they got really good wing depth with, I think they're going to probably start Isaac Okoro. So they would have Karis LeVert off their bench to give them some offense. Chetty Osman coming in and being able to, shoot the ball like that. They really don't have too much big depth, though. Of course, they have the 2 big 7-footers that they kind of just rotate in and out at center. Obviously, play them together a lot as well. But beyond that, Robin Lopez, I don't really know how much he's going to really be playing in a playoff series. I think that the Knicks, they're going to pull this one out. I got Knicks in 7. Next up, we have the 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets here. This one is probably one of the series that I'm looking forward to the least, if I'm being honest. It would be really cool if Mikal goes out there and just averages 40 points per game in the playoffs and just goes absolutely stupid. It would be cool. Probably not going to happen, though. I think Joel Embiid is going to be on some vengeance right now. Obviously, he's trying to win his MVP. Also trying to win a championship to really solidify himself as by far the best center in the league. So I think he's going to come out there and just attack Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton's kind of on the skinnier side of Joel Embiid. I think he's just going to body him up, dunk on him, going super hard. James Harden also has some, stakes in this game as a little revenge series against the Brooklyn Nets. I think he's going to be playing really, really well, scoring the ball, playmaking on that side too. Tyrese Maxey they have. I think the Nets really just don't have too much answer for what the 76ers have. They have no star power really. Again, like I said, Mikal Bridges, it'd be really, really cool if he became a star right now in the playoffs. I truthfully don't see it happening. We're going to keep this one short and sweet like the series is going to be. I got the 76ers in 4. And then the last first round matchup, the Boston Celtics versus the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Celtics are one of the best constructed teams in the entire league right now. They have a little bit of everything. And I think that overall is really what's going to bother the Hawks the most, is that they really have an answer for everything the Hawks have. And I think the defense of Derek White, I think he has a very good case of making an all-defensive team. He could really disrupt that backcourt of Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Then, of course, they also have the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. He hasn't been playing the best this season, but at the end of the day, it's still Marcus Smart. He won Defensive Player of the Year just last season in the playoffs. He's always going to be a high-energy guy, really trying his hardest no matter what. So I think those two guys can really disrupt their guards. Then, of course, when it comes to the bigs, they got Al Horford, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, too, to, give some disruption to John Collins and Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu. I think those guys can really, box them out, grab the rebounds, really prevent them from getting to the rim, getting those easy buckets. And then on the defensive side of the ball for the Hawks, they really don't have an answer for Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Of course, they have DeAndre Hunter, who's been, a pretty good defender for them. They also got DeJounte Murray, who's a pretty good defender. But at the end of the day, that two duo right there are arguably one of the top duos in the league. I think they're just going to take care of business real easy, get on to that next series. They're going to have to get out of that series real early because they're going to have to verse the 76ers next round. They want as much rest as they can. I think they're coming out there ready to kill. And I'm taking the C's in 5. And that is all the first round matchups in the playoffs. That's all we're going to do in this video right now. Like I said, as the playoffs go on, we'll do second round, then we'll do the conference finals, then we'll do the finals. But before the playoffs start, I'm going to send this out there, just give my prediction, my finals prediction. I have the Milwaukee Bucks coming out of there for the East, and then I have the Phoenix Suns coming out of the West. A repeat of the 2021 finals, I think that was? Yeah, the 2021 finals, and I got Milwaukee beating Phoenix in 7 games. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there'll be links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.